Mr. Alan in the world of toys. Boxings and museums, reviews and reviews. Mr. Alan in the world of toys. Unboxings and museums, reviews and reviews. Mr. Alan in the world of toys. Welcome back, my friend. This is Mr. Alan in the world of toys, and this is the episode 105 of my Mr. Alan Super Show. And it's a special episode because it's a mythic episode with mythic guests. In this show, for the first time ever, I have two guests that I never had before in my show. So this is super cool, super fun to have something new on the show. But I have also two big, strong mythic returns. And each of them, because if you follow the story, you know that every guest deserves a song to be in my show. So let's do it. Let's start on the theme of the Mythic Legion song to introduce my first of the four guests tonight for the special LegionsCon themed show. So many shows every week to celebrate the mythic legions and cosmic legions line and figura obscura. And one of these shows is pretty cool because it's the only one show that did an episode for me. So the guest right now is one of the co-hosts of Legion's Lair. And my guest is Brad Jones. So welcome for the first time ever on Mr. Alan Super Show to Brad Jones. How you doing, Brad?
I am doing great, Mr. Allen. Thank you for having me on.
Where is the sword, the big sword that you show sometimes? Your big sword. I want to see. I can't continue the show without the sword. Come on, it's your signature. It's your typical Brad Jones gimmick. Drum roll for the sword. Is coming the sword.
That is right, Mr. Allen. I brought the sword for you. I'll knight you again, Mr. Allen, on your show. That is right.
Thank you. I'm more a vampire, but thank you so much. And now, Brad, I have another guest that I want to introduce to you that you know really well, but he has something in common to you tonight because also this guest is an awesome artist, so polyhedric artist that is right here for the first time ever. So I want to do a song. I try to do my best for this awesome guest. Now we move to Arizona, where there is a great artist. If you need a great tattoo, go to him. He's a great customizer and illustrator. So guys, I'm very happy for the first time ever this artist and super mythic guest. So please welcome to David Williams. So David, welcome for the first time ever on Mr. Alan's Super Show.
Hello. How's it going, man?
I'm very happy to have you because I follow your stuff. I saw that you are super talented. I see your passion. I'm very happy also about what happened during the Cosmic Legions reveal back in few months ago. I'm very happy for you because when someone got this, I saw that I told that my reaction from Italy when I saw LegionsCon. I saw something that means art to me. So it's about the art is a way to love, in my opinion. Love means also to feel better in the life, no? And when an artist like you receives something like that, you receive love because you do love love with art. What do you think?
Oh, it was a pretty amazing moment to experience. Real quick, there's no video coming up on YouTube, so I don't know if you got to press a button.
Let me see, because I saw. Oh, I did a mistake. This is really crazy because I send you the link for the show that is scheduled tomorrow. So I need to do a little. Give me a second. So, Brad,
Okay.
tell something to the crowd that I need to switch the titles for a minute, because actually because tomorrow I have another show. And it was crazy. I did the mistake to reverse the two link. So this is
Yes, I think what
Brad, tell me something about. No, because
Legion's
tomorrow
Con?
you have another show. Tell me something about the sword. How comes this? Where you got the big sword? This typical sword of Brad Jones. Tell me something about it.
Well, this is the third sword that we've moved on to. We started knighting people somewhere around the first season, and it was actually a larger sword, but it started to deteriorate. So I upgraded that sword at Spirit Halloween here in the United States. And it was a good sword, but when I came across this Conan the Barbarian, I think this is the Athelonian sword from the movie. It's actually a replica. It's not. But I like to think it's real. And on our show, we definitely knight people that are worthy or that have the right answers that me and Mike agree upon. But normally there are some guests, I guess, old guests that we didn't get tonight. But every guest from now on, we usually knight them. So the sword is an honor for them picking the right answers on our show. But I would like to get our friend Paul Sutt to do maybe a Legion's Lair official sword. That would be cool. You know,
That'd be rad.
he did the Aether Blade sword for the Horsemen, so maybe me and Paul can talk one day to get a real sword, something epic.
That's really
something,
cool.
Something mythic. Something that looks mythic but is still Legion's Lair, I guess.
Meanwhile, I'm thinking now I changed the thumbnail of the video because I do this stupid reverse for my two show.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Now I think the thumbnail now is okay. Obviously, the link is wrong, but because I reversed the tonight show with the tomorrow show, that's what I did.
Oh, okay.
Because on StreamYard, to be more faster, I make this choice. Let's schedule the two show because the next one is tomorrow. But I don't know why it was on the top the link of the today show or the yesterday tomorrow show. So I did a chaotic situation, but however, I think now is okay. So I'm apologize to all of you guys for this.
Oh, don't worry.
No, good.
Also to guess the weight in the green room.
Yeah, the Legion's Lair, we're known for technical difficulties, so it's okay. We live with it. It actually makes the show better, is what it does.
But the main problem is I do too many stuff, especially that I'm super busy with my writing projects. So because of that, sometimes I really rough in the time, and maybe I prepared the show a few moments ago because I was busy on writing. So and because of that, I did this mistake. So now probably the people that watch open the other link, they don't find the show. This is really crappy, honestly. But however, I can do nothing now. The show must go on because
that's right.
So enough talk because I think that the other two guests start to hate me because what happened now? We're still in the green room in 20 minutes. So let's try to introduce the next guest. because it's a big return. It was in my show a long time ago in 2021. So let's do a song for him. The next guest is a storyteller. Everybody watch his show on Wednesday. I like his story because he started the community like a customizer, like a fan. And today he's the director of sales marketing for Awesome Studios. So welcome back to Jeremy. Welcome back to Jeremy Girard. So Jeremy Girard is back of Mr. Alan's Super Show. Welcome, Jeremy. How you doing? I don't listen to you. Maybe the mic is muted. No.
I hear. Or no, I don't hear.
I don't hear. No, I don't hear you, Jeremy. I don't know what happened.
Nope.
So he says, "Wait a minute." So tonight is the night of everything unpredictable. It's weird because we haven't Chris Garrich right here, but looks like everything is unpredictable. But we have another guest that is still in the green room about 1 year ago. So let's try to introduce in the same time a dear friend of mine, a guy that has in his blood Italian blood like me, a great customizer, a member of the Awesome Studios. So please welcome my friend Joe Apollo. Welcome, Joe. So we have, I love the style of Joe, is a real barbarian. There we go. So we have two barbarian, artist, a tattoo maker, illustrator from Arizona, a writer with a top hat. So we need only the director of sales and marketing. But meanwhile, let's start to talk about something, because the people that find finally the right stream for the show, if they find it, because I never did something really stupid like that I share with my guest the link of the show of tomorrow. So this is something that will be unforgettable mistake. But now the thumbnail is right, the name is all right, and the phone works. So see the stream works. So let's start to talk about Joe Vasapollo. What is your best moment? If you can pick only one moment of LegionsCon 2024, what is your best moment?
I would have to say finally revealing the dragon to the community and having to hold back that secret for so long. And having to pretend I knew nothing about it, or that it didn't exist, or really anything, and not hinting, but maybe still seeming interested in what people's opinions were about how we should go about it, even though I had absolutely no call in how it would happen. But just curious. It was great to see everyone's reaction and a sigh of relief. And finally, everyone could see what we had been working on all this time. There he is.
Is that better? Can you hear me now?
Yes!
Better.
You're good.
I have a great news, guys. Jeremy Girard has a voice. Drum roll.
I am here. I am here.
So, the reveal the dragon is your best moment. A little disclaimer on the show. If someone pick a moment, you can pick your best moment. You need to change and find another best moment for you. So now, Joe says that his favorite moment is the final reveal the dragon. So everyone, they need to choose another moment. So because obviously, just for me, I'm the only one that watch everything from home. I obviously the dragon is mind blowing. It's something that I'm ready to support and to do my pre-order when will be possible. But was something that I was expected that to me because I thought, wow, we have 25 years anniversary for the studio, 10 years anniversary for Mythic Legions. If they do not that right now, we need to wait a 30th anniversary. So it was perfect for the month, for the celebration of the dragon, in my opinion. Was something that I wonder maybe this time for the dragon. The big surprise to me was the wave, because after the four horsemen waves last year with this creature, I saw now what is the possible new wave? What can be the new team, the new flavor of the wave? No, and it was a big surprise to me because it was something that is impossible to me, that I don't have inside news. This wave with this variety, of these different characters, and so the way probably the full wave was a big mind-blowing moment, because it was something that was totally unexpected to me, because every year you of the studio are able to surprise me with something new, something different.
Good.
So, and I think it's a great job also for the people that work together in this in the family of the studio. So also obviously about the creativity, the creation, the character, but also in a people that in a person that have this role like Jeremy, because now that they promote my book and I need to work with marketing people, be a good marketer, and you need to have a creativity. So it's not just a cold job to schedule something. It's a tough job. So tell me something about your best moment, Jeremy. Also, that you see, I project something really cool. My idea of creating this event, this moment works really well. Tell me something about it, Jeremy.
Well, my favorite moment of Legions Con has nothing to do with marketing or creativity. So it's kind of two separate answers. My personal favorite moment of Legions Con was being there with Corn Boy. When we were behind the stage before the show started, we were like peeking out, and to see that room that was so full and standing room only, that was just very overwhelming. And to come around to take my seat, and then to have Corn Boy come around the other corner, a lot of people in that room didn't know that he was going to be there, because obviously he missed last year. Obviously, he's missed a number of shows because of his health. So to have him there and to have the entire audience cheering and standing up for him, that was just a very emotional moment. Shortly before that, I had got to welcome Corn Boy in. I took him around because he hadn't seen the new location last year. So to take him around, that was really something special that I'll remember for a long time. So that's my personal favorite moment, I think, of the weekend. But strictly from a marketing standpoint, one of the things that I get to do is determine the order that we're going to present everything. And of course, like everything at Four Horsemen Studios, this is a team effort. So I may present, hey, this is what I'd like to do, but that's a process, working with Eric and everything to make sure that he's on the same page. But the order that I wanted to present everything in, he had no problems with it. And hearing a lot of the feedback, a lot of the recaps, the fact that we came out right away with Basilia, like people weren't expecting that, right from the get-go, because usually we start with some more minor characters and we kind of build up to those more important named characters. So the fact that we came out right out of the gate with one of the great beasts, a lot of the recaps I've heard is exactly what I was hoping for, that people were going to say, wow, Four Horsemen Studios, they're not messing around. They're coming out swinging. This is going to be something pretty special. So just kind of the way that the order laid out, even the fact that we presented 7 figures and then showed a lot of other future projects, I think people got really excited, and they saw a lot about the growth of Four Horsemen Studios, the growth of Mythic Legion. So all of that was very intentional, and it really did seem to land the way that I wanted to. Definitely proud of how that went.
Awesome. I want to say something because I love Cornboy. I love CB. And when I saw G-Con, I put a post about that. That to me, the highlights was see the emotion of CB
Sure.
in the moment, because it's something that there's nothing, there's no wave, there's no dragon compared to this bigger. Because see someone that love his job, love this community, be with his friends.
Yeah.
So it's something that you feel the emotion. Also, if you're outside in the other part of the world, you see the emotion, and when you see the emotion of a friend, it's something that touch you. I think is the best thing that can happen. See someone that finally came back when he deserved to be. No,
Yeah, for sure.
I'm very happy for that. So, Brad, your favorite, your best Legion's Con moment?
I'll agree with Jeremy. It's almost like a two-part. There was a moment where I got caught off guard, where somebody had given me a tribute figure to my son who plays football. So it was a deluxe skeleton builder that they had painted up to match my son's school football colors, which here's Lauren bringing it to me. So it was
very nice.
It was a cool tribute. These are his school colors, but it was just one of those moments where I got caught off guard. Oh yeah, the little, I don't know if you can see the M for his Manchester on the side of his helmet, but it was one of those moments where I wasn't expecting it, and I was totally caught off guard in line, and I got a little emotional. And so that moment there was really touching and awesome. But as figure wise and seeing stuff, obviously the dragon was the epic, and like Jeremy explained, the way it came out couldn't have been any better, because when we first got Basilia, it was like you kind of knew where it was, you didn't, but you kind of knew what was about to happen or what figures may be there just by that first one. But it made it exciting, and they threw some other ones in there. So, but yeah, the dragon at the end was great. Was definitely epic. And like I said, it just how it was presented was awesome. Of course, I also got to see CB at Intern, so that was awesome as well. So the lucky people, they get to go to Intern. CB snuck in, so we got to see him there when that was awesome.
Cool. David, your best moment?
Oh man, I've had a particularly amazing year with the involvement with the studio. So it's a couple of things. Getting to see my friends that I chat with almost daily in person was special, because some of them had not met each other before. So that was special in its own. But as far as particular moments, was Jeremy handing me those pins for the first time that I designed for Legion's Con. And then when Jeremy announced my involvement with the book was extra special. So it was just, again, it's just been a whirlwind year for me in particular, and every moment was special because of that.
Also because I think that every time that an artist can handle on his end your art, so whatever is a figure, a book, you feel more real, no? Because the art is about idea, something that untouchable. But when an art become a book, a project, whatever, if you think maybe there is a reason why I exist, because if you exist for your heart, you need to touch the result of what you do in some way, or or someone that saying you, I like what you do, and this is for you. This is because I like you. I think it's a good retribution that you deserve. Every artist deserves, in my opinion. So I think that this is absolutely David Williams' year.
Yeah, it certainly felt like it. It's been a real special year.
Okay, the next pick that we need to do is now we talk only about the wave, no? What is the wave, the figure of the wave when you saw for the first time? And this includes also the two guests from the Awesome Studio. The first time you saw the figure in the prototype, whatever, for the first time. What is for all the figure in the wave when you saw this figure and your reaction was something like this? This is super cool! So let's start to Joe. What is your super cool figure when you saw the prototype for the first time ever, fully painted, ready for the G-Con, and you saw, I love them, but this is super cool. So my favorite.
This one's rough. I'm a company man, but I can't remember its name. I would have to go with the Cackler. Because that is, Jeremy can help me out on this one probably.
Dude, that's part of his name, man. You got it.
Okay, so the hyena man, essentially,
Yeah.
the gnoll of sorts. That is a character type that I was not expecting to see anything like that anytime soon. I'm really glad that we got that first. The two great beasts, they were kind of a given. We knew the characters existed. It was only a matter of time before we saw those. I know about the Nemean soldier. That's right. So I knew about the snake guy and another version of that. But yeah, that one kind of caught me off guard, and I just loved putting that together. All that extra articulation, the reveal of all those fur, like full fur body, which just opens up so much potential for other character types. But to have that hyena character come in first, that was nice. I was really happy with that.
Awesome. So move on to Jeremy.
So interestingly, I agree with Joe. It probably would have been Windaji the Cackler, but what a lot of people may not know, and Joe can attest to this, that was the last figure that got done for the wave. And when I say the last figure, it got done like a week before the reveal. Like,
sorry, Trevor.
The painting started. So we revealed it on a Friday. Cameron finished painting it the previous Friday. Jim took that prototype, drove to Trevor's house so Trevor could photograph it over the weekend, and then he could bring it back with him when he came to intern on Thursday. So Windaji the Cackler, there's so much about that hyena figure that I absolutely love, but I kind of feel that I didn't get the time to really appreciate it, because by the time I actually got to see it, we were so in crunch time and we so had to just get it done that I almost feel like my brain was just firing so quickly. On the opposite end of the spectrum, the figure that I got a lot of time to appreciate was the first figure that was done in the wave, and that was Leodicius. So Leodicius was a figure that Eric worked on, right around the start of the year. So much of Eric's year this year were two figures. It was the Beathir dragon and it was Leodicius. So being able to see a number of iterations that Eric was working on in the very early stages and how that all came together, I had a lot of time to appreciate the development of that figure and how it actually ended up, how ornate the armor is with the other sigils of the great beasts and everything. There's just so much about that. It's a giant, imposing figure. From every angle, there's something to be impressed at. It's just the sculptural details are absolutely incredible. And, the additional kind of posability. I'm not a big articulation guy, but getting like the butterflies in there so you can hit kind of that like roaring pose, that's a figure that just every time I look at it, I feel like I see something new. So that one is another one that I have to point out as really being just blew me away with wow factor.
Cool. Let's take a hello for some people in the chat. So we have Lauren Jones, that maybe Brett knows. We have also Michael Casper.
No.
Michael, you need to be on my show in the future, because as I remember before, Michael and Brett have this awesome generosity and privilege to have me on their show as a guest. So I need also to pay back to Michael in the future. Let's see also Angemina. Shout out to Angemina in the show. Rob Zamora. Someone that Brett knows really well. And also our common friends, 1-6 shooter Trevor Williams. So Leodisius, maybe my pronunciation is really bad, I think, but it's my favorite also because I tell you a little story why. When I was a kid, the Lion King, the male lion, was my favorite animal, no? And I had a dream like myself as a Lion King, my dream, real dream, with a red cape, no? And when I saw this, wow, what happened? They did my dream. So it was absolutely like that. So absolutely was my favorite. But another that I like is, obviously I forgot the name, but the Hyenas Man, the 3.0 arrival of the, also the Legionary I like. I don't remember the name, but I know the name of each figure that I have, however. So, but I like, because as a collector, I'm not a guy that I care so much about super complex articulation. I love the aesthetic. To me, the first thing, I want a super cool figure. When I saw my reaction, when I saw every Mythic Legions figure is like that.
What?
Because you see, this is just a figure, looks like a real actor for whatever fantasy movie in action figure form and super accurate. Because the iron looks like iron. The gold is not like gold that become yellow or silver that become gray. No, that happened in some big company, however, that you got a movie accurate figure and the color doesn't match with the reality. So to me, aesthetic, because as an artist, I don't know why, is the first thing. And the articulation is okay to me, but to me it's also okay. Also, not super intricate, but I like how you do, how Eric did, find a way to have a more articulation, but save the aesthetic at the same time. And I think it's a big challenge that, because I don't want to mention name, but other company, they use this double joints articulation for the knee, and they destroy the shape of the figure in some way.
Yep.
And that I don't like it. I want to see the aesthetic of the figure safe, no? And I saw in these new figures, wow, Eric did it once again because they they improve the articulation, but they take care of the aesthetic. And I think it's really important to me as a collector. So
I think it's also worth pointing out that not only did he maintain the aesthetic, but he maintained the swappability. You know, that's the thing. For years, people were like, oh, Four Horsemen Studios can't do double joints, which is an absolutely ignorant statement. Of course, Four Horsemen Studios could do double joints. They've done it for tons of other companies. The challenge wasn't, can we do double joints? The challenge was always, can we do them better? Like, can we find a way to add the articulation and the range of motion without sacrificing the Legion's look and the Legion's compatibility and swappability? So even like we said, well, not every 3.0 body part is going to work with every 1.0 body part. When people get these in hands and they see that, oh, wow, there's a ton of compatibility, across these different figures. And of course, 3.0s are fully compatible with themselves. I think that's going to be what's really impressive, is maintaining what makes Legions while still leapfrogging and improving on that articulation and that range of motion.
Yeah, absolutely. Brad, what is your super cool figure of the wave?
Obviously they're all cool, but I love big figures. So when Leodisius came out, that was the one that's like, he's just big and gaudy, and he's like the good version of Scapular. Like, he's just loaded with like all this stuff. He's just, you look at him and there's so much detail on him that's amazing. So, and obviously, like I said, when Basilia came out first, my mind quick was like, okay, are we getting these other figures? Are we going to see Leodicius? That's where my mind was going. So when he was revealed later on, this was the guy that I was super stoked about. And obviously the extra joining and articulation is great, but I think they killed it. In fact, they killed it so bad that I had a tiger figure from, I think it's Fury Planet. It's like the samurai tiger, it's amazing. It's an amazing figure. It's great. But like, I literally just packed it up because I'm like, I don't need this lion anymore because I know Leodicius is coming. So I'm putting this away. So Leodicius, definitely home run.
So now we have three member of the show. To Leodicius looks like. So let's see what is the super cool figure of the wave from David Williams. What is your super cool figure in the wave?
For me, it was Leodicius also. I'm a big fan of the lore of this and like the aesthetic, and it's a character that like I couldn't picture myself. So when they revealed it, it was cool to see like the king of the beasts, you know, and Eric really pulled that off by making this larger than life, just enormous lion that really looks like he's kind of just the best of the best. No so I think it's going to be a hard one to top as far as the Great Beast goes, but I was super impressed by him.
Awesome. Yeah, I forgot to say that about the lore. Like him and the lore is definitely big. So like seeing him, knowing what he means to the lore and whatnot is definitely huge. So I definitely agree with David as well.
Yeah, they pulled it off like perfectly.
Yeah, and I want to cover another things that I like, and I will tell you why before I see other people in the chat. Also, we have also another awesome customizer, Eric Miller, the watcher in the show, was I believe 2 times on my show in the past. Another thing that I like so much, I tell you a little story. One reason why I love Cowboy is because my love to Mythic Legion started with my first interview with Cowboy back in 2021. And when I got my first ever Mythic figure was King Brondam, no? And when I saw that, to me, it was mind-blowing because I was always a fantasy fan because I like play with HeroQuest, the game, role-playing game, no? And when I got, for the first time I saw this beauty, King Brondam, I saw, wow, I need to do something with that. And I started to do my stop-motion series. But to me, it wasn't enough. I built also to put in some way my girlfriend. She's not a collector. She doesn't care about figure. She doesn't care about this war. But she loves play HeroQuest with me, play chess game. So I recruit my mother. Says, hey, I want to build a 5.5 feet wide chess game for my Mythic Legions. So can you paint that? Sure, because I show it to her the trolls, the stone trolls. Take a look at the quality of this figure. They need something to put them, not just a table. And she paint that for me. And I try to do a mashup between a huge role-play game and chess. So in the same time, I'm still a work in progress because I'm super busy as a writer. But I start to build a huge castle where I change the rules of chess game. So when you lose the king, it's not the end of the show, but with one of the magic characters like Arizek or Samir, you can do a spell and put your king, the king of the opposite faction, in the castle. This is giant castle, no? And the castle is a large size. I have right here. This is just the room of Samir's work in progress. Just a room fully textured.
Oh, nice.
It's time consuming, and I don't have enough time in this moment because I need to write in 5 hours every day. So, but however, the HeroQuest roleplay game was something that put me in the Mythic Legions world, and and I say, why not to have a Mythic Legions roleplay game? When I saw the miniature during some of pictures of some of the show that you were before. Oh, could be perfect for Legions. I did also an interview with Cameron. I saw this so passionate about role-play game miniature, and I think can be possible. So when I saw this project, I was another to me, another. This is super cool. Another super cool moment because I think the Legions are perfect for a role-play game. We have a story, an awesome story. I think no one's in the toy business is aligned with a strong storyline. I think the reason why you start to do a book for that, because they need a book, this figure, no? So I think what is the game that you need to play with a story is a role-play game. Imagine with this awesome character. And so I think I'm very happy for this project. So tell me your reaction especially for Brad and David, that you are outside the studio like me. And I want to hear some backstory and also reaction from Joe and Jeremy. And we start with Joe.
I've always wanted to play a game like this outside of video games because I played Skyrim, my wife played Final Fantasy, so I was familiar with how they go, but to actually sit down with other people around the table and to kind of have that theater of the mind where everybody sees their character in their head and you have a little piece, you move it around, to be able to have an adventure in Mythos with friends, to me could be a heck of a lot more fun than sitting at a desk and kind of messing with the figures and having that world. But it's just another great way to experience all the creative writing and concepts that come along with Mythos. Looking forward to it. We've already done I think one run through of the game that we've put together, and we've done a few other little kind of test games with other brands, just to kind of get acclimated, everyone who doesn't play or have experience with it, just to understand how these things kind of go. I'm really looking forward to getting deep into it once it's finalized.
Jeremy?
Well, I mean, I've played Dungeons and Dragons. I don't play currently, but I played extensively when I was a kid. It was a huge part of my childhood. So I have very, very nostalgic feelings towards, advanced Dungeons and Dragons. Part of the reason I got into Mythic Legions was because of Dungeons and Dragons. I loved that open world fantasy concept. So when Mythic came out, and it really allowed me to, create my own kind of characters, because, even without the pop and swap, there were so many characters that didn't have stories, like, the Barbarian Builder from Wave 1, which is so many people's, still one of their favorite figures. That character didn't have a story. There were so many display options, and it felt in a lot of ways like building your own character like you would do in D&D. So when I would meet people at shows and they would say, oh, what would be great for, Mythic Legions would be a role-playing game, I completely agreed. I thought that this would be a wonderful way for existing fans to delve deeper into the realm of Mythos and to introduce new fans to it. So I began talking with Cameron about this a couple of years ago. Like, it was a few years ago that Cameron started saying, like, hey, I really think that this would be a cool thing. We should do this. And, at first there was some talk about, hey, do we partner with someone to do this? Do we bring someone else in? And the more we thought about it, the more we talked about it, Cameron just being such an expert at role-playing games and obviously being part of what we're doing already with the toy line, it's kind of like one of those moments where you're almost like looking outside of your circle, and then you say, wait a minute, what the hell are we doing? We've got the expertise right here. Let's just do this in-house. Going from that, Cameron, because I've written so much story. So for Cameron to take that story and then flesh out so many other aspects and ask so many questions. Like, when I sit down with Cameron and he says something like, how does time work in Mythic Legions? How does gravity work in Mythic Legions? Like, those are questions I don't generally need to answer for this type of stuff I'm writing, but they absolutely are valid for a role-playing game. So it's been amazing just to read what he's been writing and know that what he's laying out, the level of complexity, while also being very, very accessible for, existing players, new players. I think that this is going to be a big part of the growth story for Mythic Legions, getting people into this type of a gameplay. Like I said, whether you already love the toys and this is going to add to that love, or whether you love role-playing and this is going to introduce you to the realm of Mythos and Mythic Legions. Very, very exciting. And I'm so thrilled to be a part of what is being built there.
Yeah. Also, I think is another, like the other project they saw, and maybe we cover later, is another way to open more door to the people, to Legions in general, no? Because as you mentioned a few seconds ago, so if you are a role-play gamer, you discover Mythic Legions. If you love Legion, you will discover another side of Legions, another way. Also, because when you play a role-play game, you go inside the story, you play a part in the story. When you use a character against a evil force, so it's something really cool. It's like to be inside, to play with the world. It's in a different way. Brad, let me know, what do you think about the upcoming Mythic Legions role-play game?
Now, I'm going to be honest. I am going to be new to this. I know what role-playing games are, and I've always been the person in the back seat, kind of letting everybody else enjoy that. So I understand it, but I've never really dived down deep into it. Now, loving the lore of Mythic Legions, I can see myself getting involved with this, and I see the excitement of other Cabalers or Legionnaires or whatever, who are excited. And I mean, I think it's something even cool that, like, when we get to Legions Con, like, maybe there could be some brackets or some like role-playing game like type of competitions, I should say, or something, where they're, yeah. And I know they were doing some runs, but like that would be cool to get some rooms and get people together role-playing our actual figures that we enjoy and like. Yep. So, and using the lore to our advantage, to what we like and what dislike. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it, definitely.
David?
I've never played tabletop role-playing at all, but I have a lot of friends that do. So I think the most exciting part is to be able to to get into that, but also introduce them to like my thing while having them understand what it's all about. That's cool. So it'll be a new way for them to play, and something that I have a serious interest in that I can play along. So I'm looking forward to trying it. I don't even know what to expect. Again, it's never been something I've been familiar with, but certainly putting the Mythic Legion's name on it makes me interested immediately.
Okay, now before to move to the next topic, there is something that I want to share with you guys. About 59 seconds. Enjoy it.
Swig, where are you? Where are you? I'm here, master, I'm here. You did some mistake. What happened with the magic fire? We need the magic fire, don't forget that. Don't forget the magic fire. Where is our prisoner? He's here. You can do that, Harizak. Yes, I can. I'm most powerful. Stop it, Harizak. I'm here. Really? Take him. No, your little goblin can do nothing, really? You can do nothing against me now! Oh, yeah, we start to fight the magic fight, yeah! Take that, Samir! Take that! Oh no, my magic staff! No! Yeah, you are our prisoner! You both prisoner of us! Ha 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 ha!
Love it.
Poor
So I
Swig.
think
No,
yes,
no.
we,
Samir's in trouble again.
so tell me something, and now I talk especially with the marketing guy, with Jeremy. How start the idea of Swig, of this Swig contest on
I'm
Legion's
sorry,
Con?
what was the question about the Swigs?
The thousand of Swig. How start this idea?
So, I mean, basically me, because I was cleaning up my mess. So the story goes that I messed up the order and I added another zero essentially to something. There were basically 1,000 more swigs that were produced than there should have been. So we got all of those in the warehouse. And then earlier this year, when we did the blind boxes, you know, when you got the blind box, you got one of the reissue figures, and then you got a second figure that was from a more recent wave, like All Stars 5. So because we had so many swigs, a lot of the orders that ordered multiple blind boxes, like if you ordered 4 blind boxes, you were almost guaranteed you were going to get a swig. So in the community, there was a lot of chatter where people were like, oh, I got another swig. I got a swig. I got a swig. And everyone was kind of joking that it looks like they're sending everyone swigs. So being the marketing guy, I kind of said, well, how do I change the narrative? How do I get people, instead of kind of saying like, oh, I got a swig, who cares, who wants a swig? How do I make people really want a swig? So we wrote that short story. I wrote that short story, Tale of 1,000 Swigs, where if you've read it, he creates a potion that's supposed to give him the strength of 1,000 goblins. But what it actually does is make 999 copies of himself. So technically he does have the strength of 1,000 goblins because he is 1,000 goblins. So that was the idea, just to make people want swigs, to say like, I actually wrote in it that there ends up being kind of like 3 main swigs that are working together. So in my head, I was just hoping that people were going to want 2 extra swigs for their collection in addition to the one they already had. The fact that it got blown up into this like large scale community art project is mind blowing. Like seeing that display at Legion's Con, because Legion's Con started as an art show. And I mean, Joe can attest to this. Joe was there year 1. He's been since the beginning of Legion's Con. He has been a part of it. The fact that it had that kind of art show vibe, none of us were selling anything. We were just there to exhibit. The photo of 1,000 swigs really brought that kind of community art style display back into the show in a really big way. So that was super cool. And yeah, it's the fact that it's taken on a life of its own based on that little mistake into that marketing idea. It's pretty amazing.
I love it. I love it because in art also, especially if you are a performer, you play on stage, you do thousands of mistakes. But if you're able to be creative for your mistake, the mistake becomes something fun. This become a part of your creativity, of your performance. So, for example, Miles Davis, the musician, the jazz musician, he did some mistake with the trumpet, but when he discovered the mistake, he repeat the mistake. They become a part of the song, for example.
Right.
No,
Sure.
and I think this is what happened for the art. The art is that it's not a mistake. Oh my God, do the mistake. No, let's try to do something cool with the mistake. Be creative with the mistake. So I think is your case is a good idea also in the marketing standpoints as well. So great job.
Thank you.
And let's see. I want to see the opinion of. I saw the videos of the of some coverage of other fellow YouTubers, and I saw once again. Oh, this community is so creative because it's so many different way of swig. They became a girl, a big guy, a fat guy, a small guy, everything.
A DJ.
That one was so good.
It was great. Nice work, Jonathan.
So it was super cool. Let's see. I want to see an opinion about the Thousand of Swig ideas also from the other guests. So let's see the opinion of Joe Vasapollo, my fellow Italian guy.
I had made one and didn't make it upstairs to add it to the bunch, unfortunately. Yeah, I lost track of time, and I was with the armory for most of the time, and I wanted to go out into the floor and see what everybody else was up to, see all the great work that everyone brought. But mine had basically been like I took his head and I put it on a dwarf body, and he had a cape that was the skirt of Necronominus, and the chest plate, the new legs from that 2-pack of a dwarf, and the arms of Necronominus. And I didn't have a chance to bring him up there, but I thought it was a really creative idea to kind of give everyone the uh, the blank sheet of paper that is Swig and allow them to give us their own interpretation of it, because there's lots of creativity out there, and see what people do with a simple idea, and the ways it can go is inspiring at times.
David, tell me your reaction about the Thousand of Swig on Legion's Con.
I loved the story. I do believe that I've been told mine was the first one that was painted. So I initially was just going to bring a Swig, and I gave him corpse paint, like the old black metal bands wore. But from that, I think it kind of inspired everybody to kind of personalize them a little bit.
Yep.
And then obviously it got out of hand. It was so fun to see the way everybody made theirs. It almost made me feel like mine was kind of just a little too simple. Like once I got to see some of these crazy creations that people made, but it was a really cool moment to see that many people went out of their way to bring a personalized version of that character.
And Brad, your thoughts about it?
I think it was awesome. I think Terrence St. John did a great job doing running it.
Absolutely.
Walking in there, I think the total, don't get me wrong, was 264, but it looked a lot more than that. I mean, when you think about it, there's almost 300 swigs on a gigantic table.
That is impressive.
It is very impressive, and we talked about it on the show. I'd like to see it continue, obviously. So I mean, if we can get to 300 almost this year, I don't see why we can't get to 600 next year or more. And then like in another couple years, let's hit that 1,000 mark. I mean, I'd love to hit it next year, but
maybe in 10 years, Legion's Con will become Swig-Con.
And I think that's one of the great things. It was like when you walked upstairs to the 3rd floor where it was at, there was a lot of different events going on. I think at one point I walked by and people were playing the board game or the role-playing game in one room, testing it. So you're seeing kind of that going on, and then you're walking into another room where everyone's displaying their swigs, and the creativity that people came up with. I think there was a Hulkster swig, there was a Zartan swig from G.I. Joe, there was an Elvis swig. I mean, somebody used Frankenstein the creature and painted it green, and like it, yeah. So it on and on and on. I took about 30 shots and made a video on TikTok. And I felt bad because I didn't get everybody's. There were so many people in there at that time. I just took where my phone could go and take pictures at that time. But yeah, we got to get to 1,000. And like I said, if we can't get there next year, and obviously we know there's enough swigs, so it's not like we don't have enough swigs. There should be plenty of swigs. I feel like it's something where when you go to a show and you see a swig there, you should just buy one and have it in your head what you're going to do with it. I'm not going to lie, I didn't participate because I felt like I was just going to put in my normal one because I have a couple of them. So I was just going to put a few out there, but they'd be plain Jane. But when I was in there was a few plain Jane ones. But they now it makes seeing all those together makes me want to put like 3 or 4 together on my own. And I've seen people bring half a dozen or a couple, but yeah, we got to get to 1,000, and I think we can do it.
Yeah, For sure. George, so we had talked about doing something different next year, and George completely shut that down. George was like, we are not changing until we get 1,000 swigs. I want to be 1,000. So
Yeah.
George has already locked this down. And I've had people say to me, they're like, are you sure there's enough swigs to go around to get to 1,000? And I was like, don't worry, man. We got you.
No
They're
doubt.
still available. You can get
That's
them.
definitely on this continent. Yeah.
Definitely.
Speaking of something new for this edition was the Armory experience. So, Joe, tell me something about it.
Oh, this was so much fun to be able to watch everyone put stuff together and just see everyone's reaction to the parts, the colors, what some people have done with them afterwards. It's the closest, I think, one of the closest representations we've had since maybe the builder packs of like really the swappability of these characters and the figures themselves, story aside, just making something that you want to have, your creation in your hands. What a great way to show that. And like I've got a whole box of parts over here that I've been swapping around like since I've got my hands on them. And like I not that I not that I don't mess with things from the regular line, but they have names, they have stories, they have a faction. There's so much background with these characters where it's a little bit harder for me to want to take it apart and do something else with. But with the Armory, and I keep wanting to say configurator, and I'm being very good, but with the Armory, yeah, that's great, Brad. That's great. But like really like saying these are just parts, make what you want, have fun with toys again is, it's a great thing to have all together. Yeah.
Also because you touch something really important for to collecting toys in general. Also because when you collecting toys, you play with toys, you go back in touch with your childhood, no, with the child
Right.
inside of you.
Right.
And I think that for an artist is one of the first things that you need to have. Save the child inside of you, because to have the same flavor, to live the life, to enjoy things in general. And I think this is also another way to open the world of Mythic Legions also for this modular figure, because you can do pop and swap, and maybe not everyone knows that, for example. No? Also because
Right.
the aesthetic is so beautiful, maybe you are afraid to remove the ad, maybe I will broke it. You don't know, maybe that is meant to be. So to new fan also is a good way to discover one of the skills of this line, no? In some
That's
way.
right. And I attended a Heroes Con earlier this year, and there was a gentleman who came by and was like, "Oh, glad to see Mythic Legions here." Like, well, what are you doing? Because I was sitting at a table, I had a bunch of figures taken apart, and then I had some things that I'd swapped around, and I was even painting up some pieces. But he was like, what are you doing with those? Oh, these are called pop and swaps, and I've just mixed around like 4 or 5 characters to make this one. He's like, I've been collecting these for about 3 years. I didn't know you could do that. I'm like, oh well. I'm like, well, how do which ones do you have? He goes, oh, I have these and those, but I never take them out of the package. And I was like, oh, no disrespect to any of those people. Collect how you like. This is for, do it your own way, sure, but just the possibilities that these things allow you to have, and like creating your own thing and really enjoying them for what they are. To me, that's like keeping a Lego set in a box and not even bothering putting it together, because there's so many ways and things you could do with those pieces to just be creative and really enjoy them for all that you can, where it just I don't understand. I just don't. Do it
Honestly,
your way, but I don't understand.
Honestly, I don't understand. Also, if you don't do pop and swap, keep the figure inside the box, because you don't see the back of the figure. Or you can
Right.
enjoy also the pleasure to see those details if you don't open the box. Also because
Right.
it's collector friendly in packaging. You can also put back if you want in the package, you know? It's
Right.
weird.
Right. And how else are you supposed to get a Fury vampire?
Yeah.
Right?
Awesome.
You don't get this if you don't take your toys out of the package and swap some things around. So what I try to do with this is just use, you know, a few of the con exclusive figures in one build there. So you notice the Sir Gerard and the Alien pack that just came out this year, along with some of the Armory build there. But I'm like, this character looks like it was designed to be a singular thing, you know, and
Yeah.
it wasn't. And this is the kind of potential these things have when you're willing to, you know, really play with them and
Yeah,
swap them around.
it's like for a painter that you have so many colors, and with this color you can create a new creature, new creature, new
Right.
character, new thing. It's like because when you start to write a book, you have just a white page. When people ask me, "How you do your book?" I start with an idea, and the idea I like a color, and then the idea has some characters, and these characters build the story, you know. And the same things with these figures, because yes, there is the idea, there's the original figures, but you can do pop and swap, you build a new character with your idea. So it's something like that in some way. Jeremy, your reaction when comes in your teams about the armor experience, tell me something about it. You are a
So the
customizer
Armory
too, so-
experience was really interesting because it was something that I had a ton of involvement in, like up to a point, and then I had like no involvement in it at the end. You know, I architected so much of the configurations of the pieces for the Armory, and it was very, very challenging trying to figure out which parts would go well with each other, which colors would go well with each other's, what like number of each part we had to order to make complete figures. Like there was just a lot of logistical things that had to be figured out to get the order in with the factory for the Armory. Chris and I had like spreadsheets with all the different parts, like having to tell the factory how many pelvises they had to produce to do the Armory. Like we had to figure all of this out. It was really complex. But then it got to a point where like we had this idea, and I really felt like I had like helped birth this idea. And then I handed it off, and there was part of me that was like, did I just make a horrible mistake? Like, did I just hand off something to Joe and to George and to all these other people that's going to put them in a really bad position because it's an idea that's just destined to be chaos? So I said going into Legions Con that the thing I was most worried about was the Armory because I didn't know how it was going to work. And I should have known better. I should have known that the people that were behind those tables running it had that thing locked down. It was probably the smoothest thing at all of Legions Con. You know, it absolutely rocked. They did so well. And every single person I talked to made it a point to come up to me and they were like, that was amazing. That was so much more fun. The fact that like there were people that came with their like spouses and their spouses they don't collect Legions, and their spouse went through the line probably just to build extra stuff so their spouse could have an extra night, because we were limiting people to 2 builds. But I heard from multiple people them saying like, hey, she doesn't collect these. She built her own night and now she's like super into it. She was like, this is my figure. This is my character.
Yeah,
So,
it's kind of backfired, but hey, happy
dude,
to have you.
like, I've said this on multiple shows, Joe. I cannot say enough praise to everyone who was involved. You know, all of the work that was done. Because again, I had a ton of involvement early on. The idea to make it kind of like a bazaar and everything, and a real kind of picking experience, that was an idea. But the team at the studio took that idea and made it real. And the flow that they had testing it at intern and then revising it and, you know, really refining it to run that smooth. I can't say enough about everyone that was involved in that, including Joe. So I was proud. I was so proud that we were able to bring something as complex as that in to Legions Con. And the fact that people said the only time I've ever seen something like this is at Disney. If the bar that we're coming up to is Disney, I'm like, we did something great. Because if that's the bar that we are coming up to, then I will take that every single day of the week.
Oh, yeah.
So, Brad, your reaction about you did your armor experience, I think, yes, because you saw something before.
Yes.
Tell me something, how you feel in this experience.
I was a lucky person to get to go to intern, and I've been there before, so I allowed everyone to go first. So I waited till the end, but the whole day is that's like what I heard. I mean, everybody was going there. Everyone. I mean, the big hype was the building across the street, I guess, the parking lot. That was where you went to experience that for intern. So later on in the day, I'm thinking, hey, it's my turn. You know, I guess I'll go experience this and, you know, enjoy. And obviously Joe was there holding down the fort. And in my mind, I thought this should be easy. I know exactly what colors I like. I know what I want. I'm going to go in there and I'm just going to build this very, very smoothly and quickly. And then Joe ruined it. Joe ruined everything. He did. He just.
I get that a lot. Yeah.
Well, I started. Obviously, you start with the heads. So I'm starting with the heads, and then I'm getting confused because I think I'm picking the right heads. But then as I'm building, Joe's like, "Well, what are you building?" And then basically, what I was building is, he said, would be later down the road. He's like, "You're basically getting you're basically pre-making something that we're going to have later." And then that just ruined everything because he's like, well, these leather parts may not be in there later. So then I noticed that a lot of people were grabbing the leather parts. And it just so happens that a lot of those leather parts seem to work with these extra heads.
Oh, hey, go figure.
They did that on purpose. Like,
I don't know.
Like
right?
everything seems to work and match and look.
What are the chances?
I mean, like even the different browns and the different reds went with the characters. The other figure I shown. So I grabbed all the leather I could. I'm like, all right, if leather is where I'm at, then I'm going with leather. And it was still hard knowing what I wanted. I'm like, all right, we're getting all leather. So I said, screw the heads. And I started at the end and I said, let's go with the feet and the bodies and the torsos, and I'll work my way back. So once I got the bodies and I'm actually looking at a body, then I picked out the heads. And I felt like the heads was the hardest part. I don't know why. That was my struggle. And I noticed some other people were struggling there at that part as well. But then I did go back one more time because I got the 4 that I wanted, but then I went back one more time because that red with the chain, I mean, it was like, I don't know what it is, like that. This was the figure that I wanted all to begin with to go in there, was this figure. So the leather threw me off, but then I'm like, you know what? I can't wait until later. I need to get the figure that I came here for. So that's what I went in there and got it. And I've hearing everybody made mistakes. Everybody's saying they should have went back more. They thought they got what they should have gotten, and they have regrets now. I have regrets. I think I grabbed 5, and I have regrets that I didn't grab more. And this experience, because I'm not gonna lie, I am a pop and swapper and a customizer and small, but I am a completionist. So the figure has a bio and it's a part of the lore. I don't like to deviate. My completionist doesn't like to deviate from that. This experience here is completely different because they're like Legion builders. They don't have bios. They're their own thing that you can create on your own and do what you want with them. And that helps my brain more at that. I don't know, you know, like I'm all about popping and swapping these because I almost feel like that's how they came. And it's okay to do this now because sometimes I'm not very, I don't like taking apart 2 or 3 figures and putting them together because then my brain's thinking value and there are other things, and when it shouldn't be, it should be thinking, hey, this looks cool and that's what you want.
Yeah.
So this allows you to do that. This allows you to say, hey, look, I can do whatever I want. And these aren't set in stone. These are just things that I put together. So I grabbed these parts for now, but that doesn't mean I'm going to change them later. So the experience is great. And I hope we'll see it again next year.
Oh yeah, we've already said that we're doing it next year for sure.
And I've seen some people do a vote. I think the 2.0s were very high on the voting for that, which I thought was surprising. But hey, you know, with anything, like I said, it'll be great to see what you guys do. It always is. You guys always hit it. So.
Yep.
David, tell me something your armor experience.
I went in knowing exactly what I wanted because Kirby made that.
Yes.
That.
Thank you,
thing,
Kirby.
Which was
Great.
awesome. And then, so I built mine at Intern, and I just went all different colored knights, and that's what I wanted. I wanted one of each color. And then, as I was seeing everybody else with their builds, with like the cloth parts and the leather parts, I was like, well, I should have done that. Like, why didn't I just get all cloth parts or leather parts? And then it got busier, and I didn't have a chance to leave my table until the very end. On Sunday, I went and built another couple of nights just to have parts. Those bear parts being added in made it even more challenging to like what's going to look cool on this barbarian body as opposed to being like a full knight. I just decided I'm going to give all my extra parts to Joe Suter, so he'll have colored pieces to work with for his pop and swaps and stuff. So I ended up with a bunch of really weird stuff when it was initially going to be just knights.
Yeah.
But it was a really smooth experience. That was
cool.
The big thing about it was just super easy and very self-explanatory. Like there was no confusion whatsoever about any of it. So well done. It was a fun experience, and
Thanks.
I got some cool looking knights out of it.
I have to say, during Intern, I asked everybody at the beginning and at the end, like, you know, we want to hear your feedback, negative or positive, your opinions, what you think would work better in this situation. You know, what really works, what did you enjoy, all that, and that all that was taken under consideration when we set up the next day at the venue. Like you were saying, Brad, starting with the heads, a lot of people came back to us and said that's like starting with the cherry of your sundae and then having to build everything underneath the cherry.
Yeah.
You know, like why don't you start,
Yeah.
you know? So we took that feedback, and when we set it up at the venue, I think we had a much different order to things, and I think honestly, like it was easier for people to kind of figure out the full concept of the character when they didn't have the build already, and to be able to work through it. You know, all that kind of stuff. It was the first time we ran it. We want to know people's opinions, so all that sort of information we take under consideration for when we do this the next time.
I will add to the hidden golden goose, I guess, at the end of the line would probably have been the $10 parts, right? I mean, those $10 before I even got there, there was a rumor Curtis bought 20, things like that, and I hadn't even seen what people were speaking of until I got there. And I'm thinking, oh, $10, I grab a couple of those. Those are great parts. Those the Garwich's parts. So those were awesome. And to know that you literally the 2-packs, once again, there's a little dwarf feet in the 2-pack that you got on Saturday that goes right on there. It looks great. There's the dwarf head. I have it in the other room. It's almost like you guys planned
those parts.
Yeah,
Yes, right
So
there.
the
good.
colors, it just
Cool.
works.
It's
Right
so
there.
perfect.
Hmm
Right there. So that little added extra thing was totally chef's kiss. I'd have to say that's definitely awesome.
Awesome. I think
Yeah,
it's
it was
an
a cool
awesome
addition.
experience. But speaking of experience, we are about 10 minutes left of the show. And only Joe knows that, because if you are in my show, there is an experience that you need to do. I show you some. These some words that maybe for Joe is familiar, because my guest can't leave the show without singing the Mythic Legion song. It's something you need to do that. Don't be shy, guys. So I start. I wanna hear the voice of all of you, of each of you, and then all of you. Let's do it.
Oh man.
And maybe some of you says, "Oh my gosh, what a set to be in the show of the freaking Mr. Allen."
Well, I had the lyrics now, so
Yeah, I've been a drummer for 20 years. This is rough.
I mean, I was playing your song at PowerCon. I mean, we had it on. I was going around playing.
Yeah, I feel
Yeah,
like this
I
is
did
all
that.
you, Brad. I feel like you should be the one singing this.
I did also the PowerCon song, with
Oh
Shouting
yes, the
Star.
PowerCon song. Yes.
You find
find your legions when you got your faction.
Nice.
You find emotions
into a
into a
man.
magic world.
And now only bread. 3, 2, 1. You find your
Find your legion. You got your faction. You find emotion in a magic world.
And I wanna only the voice of Joe. Joe, it's your turn.
Again!
Only Joe. You
You
find
find your legions when you got your faction. You find emotions into a magic world.
And now I
That's
wanna
all I know.
hear the voice of David Williams. Come
Oh,
on,
no.
David. Don't be shy. You can't escape this. You find your
Your
legions
legions.
when you got your
your
faction.
faction.
You
You
find
find emotions
into
to a magic world.
And now we knows that the director of sales marketing for Osome Studio play banjo, but now he needs to sing. Come on, Jeremy. 3, 2, you find your...
I can't sing, man. I can't do this.
Come on, Jeremy. You
Trevor wants me
find
to rap it.
emotions
Into a magic world. There you go.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Jeremy's
So-
in the video.
This is historic. Jeremy Girard sing the Mythic Legion song. And by the way, he did a little cameo in the video along with Dennis Derby. Do you remember,
Yes,
Jeremy?
I did.
Yes.
So, guys, thank you so much. It was super fun and super cool. Relive that moments also from here. I hope one day to be there also. Let's see what
Yes.
happens, because now I'm working I will be a New York Toy Fair actually. So let's see
It's going to be a long boat ride, my friend.
Let's see if I'm able to have the money also to next November for Legion. Depends only money, staying point. The reason why. However, thank you so much to join with me and also to share your passion for different side of this community. And so thank you so much. I remember to everybody, tomorrow on this channel will be of a 10,500,000 views celebration on this channel at 9 p.m. Eastern with Zakot, the JP Mavinga illustrator, and Alex Einke, this is sculptor of Zombie Sailor Toys. And before to say goodbye, a last video to the outro, a video outro of 60 seconds to everybody. Thank you, Guy Jeremy. Thank you again, Joe. Thank you, Brett. And thank you, David Williams, guys. Enjoy the
Ciao.
60 seconds. Thanks for watching, my friends. And please smash that button, my friends. Please smash and subscribe. Help this channel to go to 100k subscribers, my friends. This is my dream. Please give me your love, guys. But also, guys, leave a comment and share this video with your friends, guys. But also, my friends, consider to become a patron to choose the next content of the channel. And also, my friends, become a member to be my guest in my show. That's right. And now you can see this video, or maybe this other video, or maybe another interview, reviews, unboxing, stop motion, tutorial, and more for you guys. So thanks for watching, thank you so much, and subscribe, my friends, and so long everybody, so long my friends.